3 years ago, we came across a great deal on a playhouse, which we were able to modify into a functioning coop. But as time has gone on, we realized that its limited space has made it hard to clean, limited number of chickens, and we even had to put the nesting boxes on the outside. In hopes of trying to create a better option, we began looking for something, and we came across an amazing deal. And check out what we got. Now come along with us as we share how wonderful this new coop is.
So what's up, guys? Stan here from Rocky Creek. Welcome back here on the Homestead. If you're new to our channel, thanks for tuning in and welcome. We hope you like the content of today, and we hope you'll stick with us for future videos. So with that being said, yes guys, I've been wanting for probably 3 weeks to almost a month, I can't remember exact timing, to share with you this amazing, awesome new building that we got that we've been able to convert into probably the biggest and best chicken coop we have ever had in my 3 years on this homestead, or 5 years in total of raising chickens. It was a huge blessing. It was just perfect how I came across it. Yes, we've had to invest just a little bit, but I bet in total, counting the super cool feature of an automatic chicken door on there, I maybe have about 240, 50 bucks in it. But for the most part, the building in and of itself, not including the automatic chicken door, I think I got maybe about 50 bucks. So it's a smoking deal. It's been awesome. We're not quite complete yet, but we're about 90% done. So let's go show you this and talk about how I came about it and why this is going to be so much more beneficial for us. Hey, what are you doing out? You are getting out every day. I'm gonna have to trim your wings soon enough if you keep doing this. I'll tell you that right now. See, dogs and chickens can get along. While we're out here too, before we talk about the coop, meat birds are here. Meat birds are doing great. They're growing fast, and you can see they're pretty good size already. But they're doing good. There's our house. They enjoy being out here in the leaves and finding bugs and worms and all that good stuff. And we'll talk about why we're raising them on leaves in a future video. But for right now, just want to share with you that the meat birds are doing well. Goose, goose. Goose, goose. Goose, goose, how are you? Nah, you don't want to hang out? That's all right. Q-Tip, how you been? You doing all right? There's old Bruce. Bruce, you're looking good. Ladies love you, brother. Oh, now you want to come join the party? Come on. You want to be on the film, I guess. So for those of you that may be new to our channel, this has been my primary coop for the last 3 years on this homestead. This was a playhouse that a gentleman was selling on Craigslist, and I was able to get it for, I think, $150 if I remember right. And it's been a good little coop. For us, it's been very basic. You know, it's just standard, got 3 roosting bars, and I do still need to clean it out. And we used to have the nesting boxes on this side of the building right here. But now, this is our new coop. And you can see size comparison, it is a big difference. I want to say, if I remember right, the size dimensions on it is like 9 foot by 7 foot. And I'd say the inside is about 6 foot tall at the highest point. I'm 5'10", and I can just barely stand up on the highest point. So I would say somewhere very close to 6 foot is the highest portion. Now, it didn't always look like this. Someone here in one of our nearby cities had it posted up, and fortunately ended up being somebody that I actually personally knew. And I happened to come across it on Facebook Marketplace, and they had ordered a new shed because this shed was a little bit too small and it was starting to rot off some at the bottom. And so they posted it up free, but you had to move it. And so me, a couple buddies, a Jeep with a winch, and a trailer, we did some serious rigging and got this thing loaded up. It was a lot more than I expected. We bit off a little more than we could chew, but at the end of the day, we got it here, we got it unloaded, and since then, the only things that I have done to it is I have painted it this barn red. I've added trim around the windows. I painted the trim on each side of the front, and I did replace a board across the bottom because those had been pretty rotten and broken off at the bottom. We then got us an automatic chicken door from Omlet, and it is one of the more expensive automatic doors, but based off of reviews and what I read, I decided to go with this one, and installation was actually pretty easy. And so far this thing has been an amazing game changer. It's running off of batteries, and we have it set for it to go off of the nighttime and daytime versus a timer. And so right now, and it has batteries, it shows 80% battery life left. And this thing has been awesome. Now I did pay the extra $10, which is what this cord's running to, for an interior light. This here was the main access door for the shed for the people, so I use that as my access door when I go to collect eggs. And this shelf was already in here, and so what I did was I'm using that shelf for storage, and once I put items up here, the chickens don't seem to mess with it at all. And then I moved the nesting boxes that used to be on the exterior of our old coop, and I put those underneath it. They already can't really roost on these because they're slanted, but this just even helped even further to make sure we don't have any issues. And as you can see, these girls aren't playing around. They're laying eggs like crazy. I do have one French black copper Moran that keeps wanting to go under here, but no big deal. She at least has a general idea of where to do it. This is not in one day. This is about 2 days worth that I haven't collected eggs. And then the only other two things that I did was I did the roosting bars right here, which you can see that's where they're soiling for the most part because of when they're roosting. And then this here is the light that I ran to the inside from Omlet that is directly above the entry door, and I can tell you this was worth the $10 investment. Hey, Starfire, I'm showing them your new house. Don't come in here and start causing a lot of noise, okay? I'm showing them your new structure. So one thing I forgot to tell you, one key feature that I really like about having the shelf here is this is my egg holder from Coop, and I love this because I can fit so many eggs in here. So I literally just grab from here, move them into there, and then once this is full on a couple trays, I don't let it get completely full, but I keep my extra trays right here. Once I get 2 rows of trays done, I'll bring them inside the house and do a big wash all at one time for whichever ones need to be cleaned and get them all packaged up then. So this whole system has worked out tremendously. So here at the highest point, like I said, I can stand up, but you can see I only have about that much room between me and the ceiling. When I get over to this side over here, I have to duck down just a little bit. But this thing, as you can see, is old barn wood, and it is pretty daggone solid. It's been great to have. This has been just a huge game changer for us. One other little feature it had, and they actually left this in here from the last owners, is it's a little battery powered LED light. So when I've had to come in here at night and I don't have my headlamp, I've been able to use that as well. But you can also manually turn this one on from the panel on the outside of the Omlet door opener, and this has worked really well too if I need to light it up too. Now one really great thing about this coop too as compared to the other one is, so I've had this here now for I want to say about 3 weeks. It may even be closer to a month. And you saw how sort of dirty it was just under the roosting bars, but the rest of the coop was actually very clean. And I have not cleaned this coop out yet since I put them in here. And one big reason why this one is staying so much cleaner than what this one was is that when it used to rain, they would all pile up in this one. But since I've had this coop, because there is about an 18 to 20 inch overhang right here, is that actually when it rains, all of the chickens prefer to stay outside, and they just kind of line up along the front of the coop here and just kind of lay down. And so I'm not having them inside all day pooping in the shavings. So just that little overhang, which I didn't even think about, has been one of the best features of this coop. Now, what's a couple other benefits to this coop versus this coop? Well, obviously the space. I can fit a tremendous number of chickens in there. Now, I've gotten to the point on my homestead that our first year or two, we were hatching eggs, getting all different breeds, figuring stuff out, and at one point, I had gotten up to about 24 chickens. And for my family and for what people I provide eggs to, 24 chickens was honestly just way too many. So we ran out of space in this coop, and I ended up getting rid of about 10 of my older hens. And then between getting rid of some and then some that we've gotten and then predator attacks, we have now kind of stabilized out at 12 chickens. One of those being the rooster, so 11 hens and 1 rooster. And for us and our family, that has turned out to be pretty much a perfect number to supply for all of our needs and to be able to provide for the close friends and family that we like to provide eggs to on a regular basis. So for us, the number we have is great. But if there was ever to be a need that I needed more chickens or I need to house a lot more for whatever reason, I can fit so many birds in this coop. This will be a tremendous asset for that. I would just maybe at most need to add a few more roosting bars to it, which we have a ton of space for that. Another amazing thing about this coop is going to be that we have now been able to transition our nesting boxes from the outside of the coop to the inside of the coop to make sure we have a lot of space. And the great thing about that is mainly 2 reasons for me. Number 1 is that when I have a hen go broody, I no longer have to worry about a predator attacking her. We were so fortunate that of the 2 times I had a hen go broody, they never got attacked by a predator. How we were that fortunate, I don't know, but that wasn't something I wanted to continue to risk moving forward. And then the other thing is that if I forget to collect the eggs for a day, such as I did yesterday, I don't have to worry about the predators getting in there and tearing up the eggs, which is not a big deal if I lose a few eggs, but they make a mess. And then not only that, once a predator such as a raccoon or a possum discover those eggs, they're going to be more likely to keep coming back to get more eggs. So even if you take them away, you're going to expect that predator for a few days. Having these on the inside now, there's so less of a chance of me having predators getting access to them, which should reduce the frequency of predators overall if there's not much available to them. The third greatest thing about it is that I can actually get into this coop. This one, just like that French black copper Moran that you saw, there's always that 1 or 2 chickens of the group that just for whatever reason are like, nah, I'm not using the nesting box. I'm gonna go right here on the floor. And so that would end up being me doing this bent over, hunching, reaching through thing to get the few eggs. Now, no big deal. Hey, I grab them along with the others. Game changer, it's been phenomenal. Building was free. I had about $30 in the paint, brush or 2, and then the coop door, I want to say, was about $180. It was pretty expensive. So all in all, I'm less than $250 for this amazing, rock solid, hand sawn lumber coop that has been a tremendous game changer for our family. Now, enough about the coop. Let's talk specifically about the automatic coop door. This thing, in addition to the coop, have been like tremendous. I wish I had gotten one of these a long time ago. I so highly recommend this, particularly if you're like me and you're homesteading with a full-time job. This thing, so I used to have to come out here even on the weekends and do my farm chores at around 6:30 in the morning. Not because I wanted to. I never wanted to risk leaving all my hens in that small coop for an extended period of time once the daylight arose, because believe it or not, chickens will become cannibalistic if they're confined in a very tight area and if they get hungry enough or stressed enough. And so I always made it a point that as soon as it started becoming daylight, I must get those chickens out. Well, what would happen is as I came out to let the chickens out, the pigs would see me. And then the pigs would get so loud if I did not feed them. So ultimately what happens, I just have to do everybody at 6:30. Now, if the pigs don't see me, they'll stay quiet for as long as they need to. It's no big deal. So now, at least on the weekends, if I want to stay in and have breakfast with the family or whatever, the birds, they're out. I don't have to come out here. At most, they don't have feed in their pans, but they'll scratch around and do their thing. Bruce will do his thing for the morning, and I don't have to rush to come out here. So now on the weekends, I've been able to relax with my family in the morning and not come out what used to be 6:30. Now I'm not having to come out till like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning sometimes to deal with everybody. And that has been awesome. And not only that, if you follow us on Facebook and Instagram, we went camping recently. Well, it also helps those people who are coming to take care of our animals when we're away. People don't want to have to come over here at 6 o'clock in the morning, especially if they're not used to this. So with this, they don't have to be in a rush either. And then at nighttime, I have probably, since I've been raising chickens, have forgotten to come out and close up the coop. I would say probably close to a dozen times. And there is no worse feeling than when you wake up, I pour my coffee and I look out the window and I see that door open and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we might have lost everybody. Because if you've ever had a predator attack on your chickens at night, you can pretty much expect that you run a risk of losing your entire flock in one night. And I was so fortunate that thus far, I had done pretty good. The only chickens that have ever been attacked at night are those who didn't go in the coop at night for whatever reason. But in terms of actually inside of the coop, but the door left open, I was so fortunate that that never happened. But now I don't have to worry about it at all, because this thing will go in. And the reason why that light is so good is when I first put this in, this was a big change to the chickens. They did not know what to do. They were trying to figure out how to go inside. And once it got dark, what happens is that light inside cuts on and it illuminates the entire coop. And as soon as that light came on, the chickens could see that light through here while it's dark out here, and it stays on for a couple minutes before the door shut. I'm not kidding you that as soon as that light cut on, within probably 20 to 30 seconds, every chicken immediately started going into this coop, with the exception of Q-Tip. Q-Tip, for whatever reason, decided it wanted to go under the coop and lay down. So I had to dig Q-Tip out. Q-Tip was very confused for one day, but then after that, Q-Tip now goes in with all the other ones. But if I didn't have that light, I am very confident I would have had to have hand trained all these chickens to go in this door, which would have been very difficult over a period of time. But that light, I'm not kidding you, as soon as it cut on, all the chickens understood and realized I need to go in there. That's where it's going to be a good spot for me to go. I don't know why it worked like that. I'm just telling you, for $10, it was worth it. Spend the $10 if you ever decide to get one of these. Now, like I told you, we still got some work to do on this coop. I bought a bunch more center blocks, and I'm going to line numerous center blocks around the base of this thing to give it plenty of structure to eliminate some sagging in the flooring, because underneath it, although it's really thick plywood, they don't really have a whole lot of floor joists running for overall stability underneath. So I'm going to do multiple center blocks throughout the undercarriage of it to make sure we have at least some kind of a basis to keep a good structure underneath this. Now, I also like having it raised up because we've had a couple really hot days already, and I noticed the chickens love to go underneath there and cool down. Now, once it gets, the sun is usually out of this area by the evening, and then all the chickens usually come out, and so there's no issue with them going in the coop. So guys, as y'all can also see, our goose friend here, he's integrated with the chickens, and you're thinking, I thought you had two of them, and we did. They have not figured out how to use the automatic chicken door. And one night, I did not manually put them in. And I came out the next morning, and unfortunately, we lost one of the geese. This goose ended up being okay, the other one didn't make it. I'm still not sure if this is a male or female, but my gut instinct, based off of some of their body sizing and mannerisms, is that this one was a female and the other one was a male. But we're still not 100% sure. But one thing I do know is if I can get this guy to go in on his own, the goose has actually been pretty neat. A different bird, poops a ton, but it's been a different bird, and I've actually enjoyed it, and it's got a pretty interesting personality. So guys, here's the goose though. I don't know if it's a boy or girl like I told you, but he's been pretty cool to have. I've enjoyed it. A lot of its mane feathers are starting to come in, and hopefully it's going to be a type of a goose that we'll be able to manage and deal with. It's still rather skittish, but over time it's been getting a little bit more used to us and not running as much. And it's kind of really taken a liking to the chickens. When the chickens go in at night, it paces around the automatic door because it's almost like it wants to be with them but can't figure out how to get to them. And so I've been manually putting it in. I think I need to do a wider and longer ramp. I just think that the goose isn't able to navigate the more narrow, steep ramp that I currently have. So we're going to try to make that modification here in the near future, and maybe that'll finally help to get it to do what it wants. Because if I can get him to go in, her, I don't know, if I can get it to go in on its own along with the chickens, this door will be the answer to so many of my problems. So say bye, Mr. Goose. But anyways, guys, that's Mr. Goose. It's doing fine. Mr., Mrs., I don't know what it is, but it's a goose and we like it, and it's a very interesting bird. So guys, that's a little rundown on the new coop and how amazing it's been to have that thing with us now. I mean, it's really been a huge blessing. But one last thing I want to go over today though is, as you know, one of the big reasons why it took me so long to talk about that coop was that Big Mama had gotten really sick. And since then, we have had a continuous improvement to where I haven't given her any medication for the last 2 days, and she seems to be doing very well. The piglets are doing very well, and actually they're all sleeping right now, and we'll see if we can take a quick peek at them. Why you done knocked all your waters over? Was you trying to get cool off in some mud? Huh? But guys, as you can see, the pigs are all doing really well now, so I'm hoping we're finally beyond that major hurdle that we had with them. The piglets are growing really well. I think we're gonna get to the point where we can start weaning these guys here in just a couple weeks, and I'll probably do that in phases. My hopes is to maybe do the 2 biggest ones first and then follow it up with the other 2 about a week later. But these guys are also about to be due for, what are you doing to me? They're about to be due for their first shots as well. So we're gonna bring you along as we try to administer shots to piglets for the first time. We've done them obviously to full-grown pigs, but I've never done piglets before. So we'll take you along for that journey as we work through that as well. They try to nibble on my butt. But anyways, guys, there's a lot coming down the pipe with these little boogers, and we'll take you along with that. But we're just glad that things are finally starting to turn around, and they've been a lot of entertainment, but a lot of stress. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you coming along today. Even though we've had a few hurdles, we do have many blessings, and we need to stay mindful of those as well and not forget those. But guys, we hope everybody's doing great. We're glad to have you along with us. And until next time, y'all be good. And we'll see you here very soon on one of our next episodes. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Say bye.